What a fantastic night of pro wrestling. It's great to see all of you. Thanks for being here. It was a great ROH final battle. I think we've had so many amazing shows in a short time since taking over and relaunching ROH, and we're back here where I had my first one, and thought it was an amazing show, and I'm really excited to get this started. I really appreciate all of you being here, and thanks everybody who checked out ROH Final Battle or AEW Friday Night Rampage on TNT tonight. There was so much great pro wrestling, and I appreciate all the fans who checked it out. And now let's start out the media scrum with some of the greatest wrestlers in the world after an amazing match. Ladies and gentlemen, FTR and Mark Briscoe. There you go. The biggest hug I got for you. So let me maneuver here. Yes. First question is coming back here.
Hey guys, Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. First of all, congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you, sir.
I'm sure it's all still being absorbed, but what does tonight mean to you guys, the win, the match, before, after, everything?
I think it's pretty well known how much we love wrestling. I mean, every chance I get to say, like, for me, it's God, it's family, and it's wrestling. And that's not just for a promo or for a t-shirt. That's exactly how I feel, because wrestling's done so much for us. For Cash and myself, there was a time where we were somewhere else that we felt that didn't appreciate us very much, and we knew we could do more. And coming to AEW and Ring of Honor allowed us to do that. And the way we got to do that is with our counterpart, and that was the Briscoes. And I don't think we'll ever match the intensity or the matches that we had with those guys, and that's okay with me. I can retire today if I had to, and I'd be satisfied, and I'd be content with my career. But today, almost a year to the day after the dog collar match, our greatest match of all time, no questions asked. Being able to have this match for Jay is probably the most important match I'll ever have. I mean, at least for me, I can speak for myself.
Yeah, it's like he was saying, the fact that, 3 years ago, we were not sure we were ever going to be able to do the things that we wanted to do the way we wanted to do them. And we took that chance, and we came here, and man, it's given us every opportunity to do all the things we dreamed of. And one of the biggest reasons we wanted to go out and test ourselves was because of teams like Mark and Jay. And we wanted that match so badly for so long, and we couldn't make it happen. And we would harass Tony. How can we make this work? Can we do this here? Can we do this here? Can we do this here? And finally, we figured out, go to Final Battle 2021 and have the face off with Mark and Jay. And from that moment on, man, it's crazy to me to think that we've only wrestled them ever 3 times. There was no house show matches. There was no untelevised matches where we could, go work on chemistry. It was just 3 matches. And those 3 matches are my 3 favorite matches of my career. And I feel like it's because Mark and Jay are the most authentic people that you can meet. And that translates into the wrestling ring, because they don't have to think about how they should act. They don't have to think about what they should do. That's them. That's Mark and Jay. Like, they're some crazy dudes, and in the best way possible. And losing Jay when we lost him, man, like, it's not fair, But to be able to come here tonight, to have the chance to tag with Mark, to do something in honor of Jay, and I can't put into words how that makes me feel. I just know that I'm appreciative of it, and I'm glad that there's people here that enjoy what we do, and I'm glad there's people here that want to help us remember Jay, because he was a once-in-a-lifetime generational talent. He's gone way too soon. It's not fair, but he's never going to be gone from our hearts because of nights like tonight.
Man, let me tell you, this is therapy, man. This is like real deal, real talk. This is therapy. Ain't a shrink in the world that could do for me what this here tonight did, man. Like I tell you, it's just it's really it's hard to put into words, man. Like, you know, me and my brother, we started training in February of 2000. And then had our first match in May of 2000. So we're coming up on 24 years, quarter century. Like, you know, it's crazy, man. But and it's like all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, in one day, he's gone. You know, and it's like, how do you carry on? And look at what we did tonight, man. That's how you carry on. You know, and these boys right here, like, it's crazy how God works, because he brought us into their lives. He brought them into our lives. And my good man, Tony Conrad here, has been just like the mediator, you know what I mean? The guy who made it happen. It's just like, it's crazy. Like I said, it's crazy how God works, because just how, you know, the Briscoes and FTR, you know, 10 years ago, you said Briscoes and FTR, and everybody be like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? But now it's like forever, from now on, forever, we're synonymous. You know what I mean? We're in the same. If you mention Briscoes, you're going to think of FTR. You mention FTR, you're going to think of the Briscoes. So it's just amazing, man. But yeah, tonight was so therapeutic. And so, you know, I'm happy right now. I'm happy.
Just real quick before the next question, I won't go too long on this, but to kind of put into perspective what he was saying about how things happen for a reason. And up until the Tuesday before final battle last year, we were never supposed to have that match with Mark and Jay. It was going to be a totally different match, totally different team. And I still have the text where Tony texted us, and he said, I want to do you guys and the Briscoes, the trilogy, at final battle instead. And I was thinking dog collar, double dog collar. And if that text hadn't been sent and we hadn't changed everything that was written down, we never would have had that chance again. But we were able to do that match. We were able to have that third. And man, we were able to, I think, send Jay out in the best way possible. If it's going to happen, I can't think that he would be upset about knowing that was the way, like, he got to finish his time here.
Brother.
So
100%, man. Like, and don't get me wrong, the first Briscoes FTR one, like, it was crazy. It was like crazy. Yeah, right here. It was just crazy how that was just like game changing. We've been wrestling, you know, tagging 20 some odd years. Briscoes FTR one, it just took everything to a new level. Briscoes FTR two, and it was like, holy, how did that happen? Like, whoa, like that was even took it up. And then just like, it's crazy, like how that came together so quickly at Briscoes FTR 3.
I tried to get you on TV so many times. You had been in Savannah and Massachusetts, and all these times where I really wanted you to be on the show. And we kept trying to get there. And we didn't have this ROH TV that we have every week now, which is great, Honor Club, and you see great matches. And you know, it's been where, like, tonight you saw Billy Starks and Athena have had months to build up that match and a platform. And, you know, there's wrestlers who wrestle in AEW, and Mark Briscoe competing in the Continental Classic, and FTR, multiple time World Tag Team Champions. And then, you know, with this show, there's all these different things we can do with the ROH TV. We didn't have that back then. So it was really challenging, because I was trying to work the Briscoes into the AEW TV shows and wasn't able to. And, you know, even without the TV to build it up, I would have liked the third match. And I had been thinking about doing something different. Like Cash said, it just felt like the right match. And I changed, and, you know, I felt like the right move. And obviously, you know, it'll go down in history.
Dude, in hindsight is 2020. You made the right move, brother.
Thanks,
You made the right move, brother.
Thanks, buddy. And tonight, you know, this felt like the right match. And was something that obviously we were talking about the Continental Classic. You guys have had a lot going on in the Continental Classic. There's been a lot going on with FTR and AEW, particularly on Collision. And we've had so many exciting things happening. But I was trying to think of, this was the place. I mean, to be honest, for so many people in AEW and ROH, this was the last place most of us, myself included, saw Jay Briscoe. And after the pay-per-view, hanging out was the last time I saw him. And we really all hold the memories very special of Final Battle last year, and we'll cherish it. So coming back to Dallas again for Final Battle, I wanted to do something special, and I just was trying to put my finger on it. And then thought back and realized why I thought the three of these men, FTR and Mark Briscoe, together after the dog collar match, that had occurred to me. That's not rocket science. But then the opponents and the rights, it just fit perfectly for a long time. Going back, we've built up the possibility of Mark Briscoe against Claudio. We built up certainly FTR against the BCC a lot, and FTR with the BCC, and the history of Jay Briscoe at 20 years ago, this being the 20-year anniversary of Jay Briscoe versus Bryan Danielson. For a lot of reasons, I just thought that would be the perfect match. And I thought it was the perfect match on the perfect night. And I really appreciate all the fans who supported the show. The live fans were amazing. And most of all, since I got into this with ROH, it's been almost 2 years now, and it started here in this room, in this building. And most of all, I want to thank you guys, the three of you guys, and Jay. And I know he's watching. Yes. Thank you.
Sir.
Stu Myrick, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling in Austin. First of all, congratulations on the win. Let's look ahead.
I like how you say win. I love that, dude. It reminds me of my North Carolina accent. Hell yeah.
Okay, North Carolina, Texas.
Same.
Our barbecue's better, but it's okay. It's okay.
Ooh.
We use the smoke.
Them is fighting words.
Let's look ahead. Any thoughts of going after the AEW Trios titles or the Ring of Honor 6-man titles?
Yes to both.
Yeah, I mean, of course we've thought about that, but I think that, man, Mark is an incredible talent by himself, and I think for right now, at least, with the Continental Classic, he was allowed to show what he can do. This is the first time he's ever been able to be a singles wrestler. And I think every match, every night he's going out, he's proved that for the last 20 some odd years, but for this year, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. I would absolutely love to do what we did tonight every single night, except for go through thumbtacks. I would love to do that every single night. I would love to be with Mark and Cash every single night. But I would leave that up to Mark. Right now, I think it's his opportunity to shine. I think it's his opportunity to have the spotlight. And I think the people would love to see FTR and Mark Briscoe together. But I think there's something unique, and I think there's something undeniable that he has, the fans love. And that I'm going off on a tangent right now, but I think for wrestling today, the thing that is missing is how fans feel for us. Because for the last few years, I think we have conditioned them to loving our moves and loving the athletic contest instead of loving us. But I think with the three wrestlers you see up here, and I hope I'm not patting us on the back too much, but the three wrestlers you see up here, they care about us. Man, they care about us for some reason. And I think right now he has a unique opportunity as a singles wrestler because these people fucking love him, man. And for some reason, at 5'10", Southerners, same voice you got, almost the same body type you have, almost the same hair you have. For some reason, they love us, man. And so I think that as selfish as it is for me to want to have Cash and Mark and myself team up, I think that we should step aside and let's see what he can do without his brother, because him and his brother, I don't care what anybody says, top 10 tag teams of all time. I'm talking about from the, and nobody studies wrestling more than me. I'd like to say that. I think, but top 10 tag teams of all time. They didn't make it to the national scale of AEW or the other company or WCW or whatever, but they're still, as far as people patterning themselves, they were the guys. They were the tag team. And I think now, until Mark says, hey, I think I'm ready to hang out with you guys, I would like for him to venture out on his own and see what he can do on his own. But that's my opinion.
By the way, in 2 months, y'all are in Austin. Barbecue's on me.
Man.
Can I bring some from home? Is that fine? It's kind of like Mark was saying, like, this is his, Dak said it too, but this is his first real run as a singles guy. And this is his rookie year as a singles guy. And so it's his time to go out there and do what Mark Briscoe does. It's his time to stand on his own 2 feet and do what he wants to do for as long as he wants to do it. When he's ready, absolutely, we're ready to chase the trios title, the AEW trios championships. It doesn't matter to us which one it is. We just want to have fun with our friend. So when he's ready, absolutely. But until he's done doing what he's doing right now and proving himself as a singles guy, I'm going to let Mark do what Mark wants to do.
I'll tell you what, man, singles wrestling is a whole lot of fun. Now, don't get me wrong. It's been a little bit frustrating here lately because I got the moves, man. I know I got the moves, but sometimes I don't think I pace myself just right. I might get a little bit tired. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when I'm looking for that tag, get a little breather on the apron, sometimes I think I just go a little bit too hard, too fast, too quick, too soon. You know what I mean?
That's what she said.
But no, I'm gonna figure it out though.
It's you. I mean, it's like
it
it's hard. It's almost like you're saying you treat so many times in your match, you treat it like the hot tag, and you're not pacing yourself like you're in a singles match. It's almost like you're running your hot tag in your own match, if that makes sense.
That's it, man. It's just like embedded into my brain. It's become a part of my mindset that, okay, let's go boom, 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 because I know I got my brother right here to tag out, get a little breather, and he gonna tag me right back in when he needs a breather. See, that's the difference between tag team wrestling and singles matches. You know what I mean? They're both such beautiful things, but they're so different. They're so different. And don't get me wrong, man. There's nothing in my life that I've taken such pride in as tag team wrestling. Me and my brother, tag team wrestling. You know what I mean? And you can see it the best with the 3 matches we had with these guys right here. But I'm about to figure this single thing out, damn it. I'm gonna figure out this singles wrestling thing, and I'm gonna be the best, man. I'm gonna be the best.
Well, it's a great opportunity coming up this week in the Continental Classic. Of course, it was earlier this year on Dynamite. You and Jay Lethal had one of the best main events and one of the most emotional and important matches we've had. And now it's a great opportunity for both of you
Yes,
seeking that win and trying to make an important mark in the Continental Classic. And you've been fantastic. Some of the best matches in the tournament have been Mark Briscoe matches. And I think certainly it's a great opportunity for you, but I would love to see you keep on in singles and FTR and tag teams and continue as a trio. And I think there's great opportunities to do all of those things. And just as we've seen this year, I think we've seen all these guys flourish together and individually. And tonight was really, really special for me. And I really appreciate all 3 of you for making tonight possible.
Oh, dude, come on. Thank you.
Thank you.
2 more guys. One right here. Give me a hard question.
Well, I've got one, but I just I'll say next time. So Brian's on PW Torch. Congratulations, guys. Dax and Cash, if you want to answer, feel free. But this is more directly at Mark. Mark, you've been pretty candid this week on social media on how difficult this time has been for you, and you openly let everybody know, hey, today's hard. It sucks. How important do you think it is right now in 2023 as a man in his 30s to say, hey, I'm hurting right now, because as we've grown up, we always had to keep shit in, but
yeah.
but up here, expressing your soul, heart. You're leaving it out there.
Yes, sir, brother. I'm a human, man. I'm a human. But so yeah, it was, and I don't get on Twitter that often, to be honest with you. But Dax had we got us a nice little group text going on, the three of us here, and he had texted, happy anniversary, boys. And damn right, one of my favorite matches of all time, that dog collar match. And then somebody told me that he made a post on Twitter. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Let me go check it out. Like I said, I don't get on Twitter. I actually, if I'm being dead honest, on my phone, on my cell phone, I can't get on Twitter because I blocked it, because sometimes it's not good for my brain. It's like, you know what I mean? That social media is not too good for my brain. However, I get on Twitter on my wife's phone. Ain't no problem. I got on there. I checked out the post that Dax made. I was like, man, that's good stuff right there. Made me feel right warm inside. And then next thing I know, I just do a little bit of scrolling, a little bit of looking, and I saw the tweet that I responded to that said, them boys with another tag team. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, when I saw it, I thought that it was made that very day after, here we are a week later, and it was made 2 days prior. And, I thought it was made by somebody from the other company, or at least had to be approved by somebody from the other company. And I thought, man, on the anniversary of this match that we had, they're really going to do that? And I was like, man, that's kind of disrespectful. I can't just keep silent. Like, there's only one of them boys. And now you talk about Dallas Cowboys. You can talk about, multiple songs of the hip hop genre. That's all good. But in professional wrestling, it is only one of them boys. And that's Mark and Jay Briscoe, damn it. And so I just had to let them know that there's only one of them boys. And then once I tell you what happened. I posted what I posted, and then I didn't look at Twitter for multiple hours. I actually went and picked up my son from his uncle's house and came back home. And my wife was like, "Yeah, you shouldn't get on Twitter no more for today." And I was like, "Okay, well, I wasn't really planning on it, but now that you said that, I'm gonna." And so I looked, and there was quite a bit of stuff that wasn't very nice. That some people were saying a bunch of things that really I don't think they would have said to my face. But at that point, I realized, like, wow, this is getting a little bit out of hand. So then I made a second post and said, okay, well, for one, that's why I'm not posted. I don't be posting on Twitter that much anymore. Some of y'all are wild. And for two, let me, be clear that this is where I'm coming from. My best friend, my brother, not been gone a year, and I see this and it just triggered me. It triggered me.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah,
that's
dude.
okay.
But and that's what I'm saying, man. I'm a human, man. We all human.
Yep.
Some people act like they somehow, some way, I don't know what the next level from human is, but they act like they one level higher than human and that they don't make mistakes or something. But I'm like, okay, let me at least tell these people, explain to these people that what I'm feeling, so it's hard, man. It's hard. But, faith in God is what's getting me through, because I truly, truly believe that my brother's in a better place. He's doing better than me. He ain't got to worry about no bills, none of that bullshit. no dumbass Twitter posts. He's doing good right now, man. But it's tough. This is our first, holiday season, first Christmas without him. And, I'm trying my best to hold it together for the family, for his wife and his kids and mom and dad and my sister. And, so that's kind of where I'm focusing at. And, tonight, just like I said, therapy, man, the therapy that it just ain't nothing like it out there. It's just, there's nothing like it. It's just nothing like it. But, yeah, man, it's not easy. and we're adjusting to this new normal. When I say we, me, and the family, you know, we're adjusting to the new normal. And yeah, so it, you know, if anybody want to just put it like this, and anybody in the professional wrestling world is going to call themselves them boys, then I'm gonna come at you. And then I don't care who you are. No, there's one them boys, and that's the Briscoe brothers. Damn it.
Last question here, guys.
Lisa with bodyslam.net. So first of all, I was here for the first and the third of those trilogy matches. Great matches. I know you're Dax. You are one to want to celebrate a win with a drink. So was it tequila or whiskey? And with the Von Erichs being on Ring of Honor, do we see the FTR versus the Von Erichs soon? And Mark, who do you want to see them, like, who do you want to wrestle, like, as a singles?
Me as a singles? Well, first, I guess to answer your first question, I decided, I guess, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago that I was going to give up drinking. And then that same day I was like, I don't know, fuck it, I'm going to drink. So tonight we had Tapatio Añejo. Tapatio is one of the oldest and the most traditionally made tequilas in the world, and they support all the Jalisco, Mexico. They support the culture, and they give back. So anytime you buy from them, you're giving back to the country, or you're giving back to the country. You're giving back to the culture too. And it was great tequila. It was an Añejo. All three of us drank it, and we had fun. And so after the tequila question, what was the second one? Von Erichs. Yes, there we go. Von Erichs. Yes. That's something we've wanted to do for a very, very long time. I mean, I think that Cash and I get grouped in with being these old school wrestlers, and, you know, trying to pattern ourselves after the old school. And I can understand that, and I see that, but that's just who we are. We enjoy that wrestling, and I would love to have a chance with the Von Erichs. I'll watch them forever. I mean, so I would love the opportunity to test myself, to test them as well. I'll let you speak on that, and then I'll talk about single stuff.
Yeah. So after the dog collar match, it was also tequila.
Yep.
I don't drink whiskey anymore. I had a rough night in Austin many years ago.
I had to hold
can't
his
even
hair
sniff-
back.
I can't
while
sniff
he
it
threw up.
anymore. Yeah. He's not lying.
I'm not lying.
I woke up in the bathroom floor with one. So it's always tequila, but we have the picture from last year with Mark and Jay, and we're all covered in blood. And we had the toast, and I didn't, at the time, I never knew that would be our last toast with Jay, but I'm very glad we got the picture. I'm very glad we got to share that match and that moment with him. And tonight, again, we had a toast to Jamin, and it was tequila. And I think he would have had just as much with us if he had the chance. But I would love a chance also, like you said, to work with the Von Erich, just because people act like we're 50, 60 years old and that we came up with his family or their family. But it's cool that they think about us when they think about history, because it helps keep the history alive and helps keep the memory of the guys who have paved this road for us alive. So to be in a match with the Von Erichs nowadays, it would be awesome. I want to see where they're at now, and I want to see where they're at 5 years from now, to see how much they've grown, how much they've learned, and how good they are. Because I think they're going to be very, very good, and they're still on the climb. So I know where we were at in 2015, 2020, where we're at 2023, and I know how much we've all grown in that time. So I'm excited to see where they're going to be at.
And as far as singles, I haven't thought too much about singles, because I have always said that wrestling has been so good to me my whole life. And I want to do good for wrestling, for what it's done for me. And I feel that I feel that me doing good for wrestling is with cash. And I think we have. I feel like we have, and I hope we have. And I think that at the end of the day, when things are said and done, I think and I hope that we can go down as one of the greatest of all time. As far as single stuff goes, I enjoy it. And I don't know if I'd ever want to pursue it unless Tony said, you got to, and then I'm going to do what the ball says. But, I haven't, I don't have the greatest singles record in the world.
I know of at least one victory you have.
Yeah, I have one victory, and it's over my tag team partner.
Hell of a bout.
Hell of a bout. But we got Will Ospreay, and I'd love to test myself against him again. We had a great match. I had a great match with Bryan Danielson. I'd love to test myself with him. Roosh, same thing. But man, we've got the. There's going to be some people who say, "Oh, you're just an AEW shield," but we have, bar none, the greatest young talent in the world. I want to wrestle Daniel Garcia. I want to wrestle Wheeler Yuta. I don't know why I just broke that into 2 syllables there. I want to wrestle Wheeler Yuta. I want to go wrestle Vikingo. I want to wrestle Commander. There's so many young people here, and I feel that Cash and myself and Mark too. I feel like we could help push them from great wrestler to superstar. And the last few years in AEW, which is where I will finish my career, is here. We owe this man more than I can say. Man, my wife and daughter are sitting at home in a house that is paid for, and it's because I am allowed to do the thing that I love more than anything else, and that's because of him. And AEW is where I'll finish my career. So whatever I can do to help the younger guys out and to help make wrestling better when I'm done, that's all I want to do.
Thank you very much. It was a great question. And Ed, what about any singles matches you want?
I don't have the cardio for it.
I disagree with that. I strongly disagree with that. What about you, Mark? You're wrestling all these great matches in the Continental Classic, and you got the big rematch with Jay Lethal coming up, and you've been tearing the house down in all these matches. Besides the great matches you've been having, is there anybody else you want to get in there with?
Well, I definitely want to run it back with Jay White, with Swerve Strickland, with Roosh, and with John Moxley, because they all got me. It's all right. I'm gonna get them. It's my rookie season. That's what I've been saying. This is,
hell yeah,
it's my rookie season, baby. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I had my first rookie season in the year 2000, tag team wrestling.
23 years later.
Yeah. Now here we are. It's my rookie season in the singles game. So yeah, I definitely I 100% want to wrestle all 4 of those guys again. I'm real excited about facing Lethal again on Wednesday. But shoot, who got the strap? MJF. I like to wrestle Orange Cassidy. I like to wrestle Christian Cage. I'm trying to get some gold, baby. I smell some gold in them there hills. You know what I mean?
You got a victory over Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I pinned Bryan Danielson 1, 2, 3 this very evening.
I think that makes you the greatest in the world.
Just this very evening.
You look like a goat.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, bring them all, baby. Bring them all. I'm really excited because I didn't used to be the biggest fan of singles matches because we was just me and Jamin, me and my brother. It just was
tag team wrestling's better.
Tag team wrestling is just
it's
what it is,
better.
Baby. But now that now that I'm a rookie all over again, I want to wrestle everybody, man. I want to wrestle Chris Jericho. I want to wrestle all of them. You know what I mean? But yes, I'm very excited to continue this professional wrestling career in the singles division and also in the trios division with my good friends here.
Hell yeah, man.
Let's go.
That was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you,
you very
guys.
much, guys. Hell yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brother.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that was amazing. Thank you guys very much for that. Unbelievable. And we're going to keep it going now after that great I Quit match. Thank you. Ollie, go eat the pig.
Hello, everyone.
Congrats.
Thank you. I feel like I deserve it tonight. That one was pretty rough.
You do.
Sure.
Ethan, Brian Zone, PW Torch, congratulations.
Thank
Hope
you.
your head's okay.
It's I'll survive.
Well, my question, Ethan, is to you, especially in the AEW sphere. If you're working more in ROH, somebody might look at that as a step down, but you're utilizing this as an opportunity to get better. What guidance or advice would you provide to someone directly that's yearning to get on television, but they just haven't had the chance to do so yet?
Honestly, for me, this has been kind of a thing I've done my entire career. Why would you not assume the place you are is the best place to be? And if you're not trying to elevate the place that you're in, I don't think you should be there. So if my role right now is to be in Ring of Honor, I want Ring of Honor to be the best show possible. I want to make everyone sign up on watchroh.com, and that's my job. So wherever Ethan Page is, will be the coolest place, the most exciting place, the best place to watch. And if I end up back on AEW, that will be my goal there too. It's been my goal in every company I've been in. I'm very big on waving the flag of the place that's feeding my family. So yeah, I'm just always going to try my best wherever I'm under whatever letters.
Hi, Derek Reed, Third League. When you're putting together a match like that, you know it's going to be violent. You know you're going in for a pretty hard night. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. There's like part of me that looks forward to stuff like this because it's, I don't know. These are the nights you kind of work for, the opportunities you build to, and the moments you get to create for the fans. And I mean, like I just said, like I'm happy to be part of Ring of Honor. I want to give a great show for Ring of Honor, and I'm willing to put my body through a lot, clearly. So yeah, it's more excitement. I mean, obviously there's danger involved, so there's always that in the back of your mind, but there's a point to prove, especially right now in this path I'm on in my career. So that's kind of my mindset is I got something to prove tonight, so everything else is kind of, I'll worry about it later.
Questions? Thank you.
Good teamwork, guys.
Hey, Ethan, congrats on the win tonight. Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. Does it add to that excitement knowing going into it you get to just drop a major F-bomb on a microphone in an arena full of people?
No, because my daughter was watching, so I wasn't too fond of that, but I felt like it added to the moment. If anyone watches anything that I put out, any of my YouTube content, I'm always beeping the swears out. Everything that I do, I genuinely try to make sure that a parent can watch it with their child, and my own wife had to watch it with my daughter. And I ended up getting videos sent to me of my daughter crying, but not because I was bleeding and not because of the violence. It was actually because Mark Sterling said to the camera he was going to send footage of this for my daughter's therapy. And I have the video. I won't show it. I don't want to embarrass my daughter. Stuff lives on the internet forever. But she genuinely, in tears, said, "But mommy, they said they're going to send me the video." So she was very, very upset. So yeah, I'm very sorry to her and anyone that was offended by the swear word. But it was very an in the moment thing, and I felt like it was necessary. I needed to tell that to Tony Nese. I was not going to quit.
Stu Myrick, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
What's up, Stu?
What's up, man? Very excited. Looked like you were very excited to see your
Oh yeah,
compadre.
Yes,
Scorpio Sky come back. Just give me your thoughts on Scorpio Sky making a return.
I mean, Men of the Year was probably one of the highlights of my career and life. I built a relationship with someone that I had no relationship with. Actually, do you mind telling?
No,
do you mind telling the story?
Please. You want me or
Yeah,
you?
please.
I invited Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page into my office in Daly's place, and they had never worked together before, and I really liked them a lot, and I thought they could be a great team, and they have been a great team and can be a great team again, I believe. And I asked Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, come into my office, guys, and I asked, do you guys get along with each other?
He said, you guys friends? And both of us, waiting for opportunity, looked at each other. Yeah. but genuinely, like, instantly we clicked. Once, oh, you want to wear this? You want to wear this? Oh man, imagine if we had this outfit, or we did these moves together, or maybe before we took our entrance themes together, we mashed them into one song, and ended up being better combined somehow. So it just, the chemistry is great. The friendship is genuine. It's real. I signed on for this program to do with Cesar Bononi to get in great shape. Scorpio Sky signed on. We're doing it together. So we are a real team. We're real friends. He's one of my best friends. So I'm so happy that he's back. I'm just happy for him personally that he's back. I couldn't be happier that he's with me. And I also feel like the two of us, and the fans might agree with this too, we have a lot of unfinished business. And truly, I believe that we got to win the tag team titles. That was our goal originally. We fell off that path, and Sky found success in singles, and I supported him because that's the friend I am. And now he's back, and maybe we can do this together. And that's our goal.
Questions? A few more? Anyone?
Lisa with bodyslam.net. So what did you do to prepare for this match, knowing that it's an I Quit match and it was going to get the way it was? What did you do mentally and physically to prepare for this match?
So mentally right now, honestly, I feel like I'm ready for absolutely anything. I mean, on a whim, a week ago, I was feeling extra froggy and challenged the best wrestler in the world to a match. And I gave it my absolute best. So mentally, 100%, I'm ready for Tony. Anything you want to put on my plate, I'm hungry enough to eat it.
That showed. I think that showed you're willing to fight anyone, any place, anytime. And while we're talking about that, I would like to say, on behalf of everybody in AEW, ROH, and the pro wrestling world, please get well soon, Kenny Omega.
Oh, dude, 100%. 100%. Well, truly one of the best people I've ever been in the ring with on all aspects. However you want to take that, just assume he's the best at it. That's only happened with me with a handful of people, and he's absolutely incredible. Back to your question though, mentally, that's how I prepared. I was just, you know what, I have to get into this. I'm ready for it. This is what I wanted. I wanted opportunity. And if the opportunity is an I Quit match where things are going to get crazy, that's fine. That's what I asked for.
It felt like this story had been building and building, and I really enjoy working with you and Tony. And, after the way this had turned into such a personal rivalry, and especially the direction it was going, I just felt like the I Quit match was perfect. And you guys absolutely crushed it. It was so good.
Thank you. And that was all you to come up with that match.
You guys were on fire. What you guys were doing was great. And it just felt like that was the way this was going. And especially, I just feel like you guys have been doing great week after week. And recently the intensity stepped up another level to really help build this show. And I thought it was one of the best wrestling shows in the entire year. And you guys really brought it, and you're a huge part of that.
Sweet. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Thank you, Ethan.
The physical transformation, though, I actually watched the match back with Kenny, and I was disappointed with my physique. I thought I wasn't thick enough and built enough, and I thought maybe I needed to add a little size to go into such a violent match. So I actually had my trainer increase my carbohydrates all week, and I have had an extended stomach all week eating these pounds of rice, but I felt a lot better in the ring physically, and I felt a lot more, I guess, dominant and stronger. So I actually did train physically for this week from the Kenny match to make some changes. And I'm gonna get a little bit more, I guess, frisky with my diet and fine tuning things. It's kind of become an obsession of mine because it's the one thing in my life that I can 100% control. Professional wrestling, wildest sport in the game. We can come here and things could change on a dime, and that's our job, is to be ready for that. So if I can't control that, I can't listen. You can ask me as nice as you want to eat a donut, Tony, but that's on me if I want to eat the donut. If I want to eat the donut, so it's up to me now. So I can fully control my body, and I figured why not make it the best as possible and bring 100% effort and honesty and just the best I can to the table for Tony and for AEW or Ring of Honor.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Ethan.
That makes a lot of sense. And you're turning into a brilliant mad scientist. That's great.
Thanks.
I like that very much. It was great. I quit match. We have any final questions for Ethan Page? It was a tremendous match.
Thank you,
and
guys.
Great. I really appreciate everybody. And let's hear it for All Ego Ethan Page.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you. That was great. And we're going to keep things rolling. And speaking of people in big breakthrough matches, I believe now we're going to be joined by the brand new Ring of Honor World Television Champion, Kyle Fletcher. What a great match. Yeah, any side. This is great right here. The path of least resistance. And yes, please.
My first time doing this.
Oh, it's great.
Oh my God.
That's great.
Mess it up.
No, not at all.
That
First,
okay for everybody?
unbelievable for one of
See
the
that guy?
great wrestlers on the planet. Somebody who's great as a tag team wrestler and as a singles wrestler. First singles championship in pro wrestling for the great Kyle
Entire
Fletcher.
career, yeah.
It's amazing.
Big night.
Great match and great night.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Of course.
Emily May with Sportskeeda Wrestling. Congratulations, Kyle. Many have said that this year is a record year for you. If you break it down, you have had the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship, the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Championship, ROH World Tag Team Championship, and now you are the ROH World TV Champion. So how does that feel, and what does it mean to be here at Ring of Honor to make this night even more historic for you?
Yeah. Wow, you said it. 2023 has been pretty big. Started off the year. It feels like a completely different lifetime. I started off the year, I was in Australia. I was living at home still with my family. Now I have my own apartment in Chicago. I'm wrestling at AEW Ring of Honor full time. I just won the World Television Championship, my first singles championship in my entire career. In a sense, I really don't have the words. Like, it was never, I don't want to say it wasn't where I expected to be, because I've always known this is what I was supposed to do. I've always known that this was what I was put on this planet to do. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's surprising. It's not that I didn't expect it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really have the words. I can't put how grateful I am into words that this is my life and I get to live this life. It's pretty cool.
Derek Reed, Third League Radio. You're a tag team wrestler. You said this is your first singles gold. Is there any kind of mindset, any kind of mentality that you have to change from tag team to singles wrestling?
Yeah, in a lot of different aspects. I think the biggest thing for me is having your best friend in the ring with you through the whole process, traveling with them, whatever. It's almost like a comfort thing. Like, when you're in the ring, you feel comfortable because you have someone that you've been through so much with by your side, and someone to, when you're in so much pain and you need like a break, it's like, oh, your best friend's there with his hand reached out to you and you can tag him and take a break. It's great. Singles wrestling really is a different challenge, and in a lot of different ways. I think it's me, every idea that I have, every creative idea that I'm putting out there is all, not all me, but for the most part, it's from my brain. So there's a lot of, as an artist, it's scary because there's no one else to like blame if something falls on its face. So in that aspect, it's something that I find really challenging. I think I'm an anxious person by nature. So every time I'm like trying something new, it's like, oh my God, what if this sucks? What if everyone hates me? What if Tony fires me? But yeah, so it's definitely, like you said, you got to shift a lot of things with the mindset between singles and tag.
You know what's fascinating? And it's like the mindsets of great athletes and the great tag teams and the great singles wrestlers. And both of you, it's very totally different circumstances, and the answers were very unique. But what's amazing to me, and we were all in here for it, and everybody watching this, it's just interesting because you know, you've been in such a great decorated tag team. And earlier to start the press conference, we had Mark Briscoe sitting here, and his answer, there were so many similarities to the answer he gave about the differences between tag team wrestling and then going out on your own as a singles wrestler. So I thought that was just really interesting, because all of you, when you ask the question, it's just fascinating because there's a lot of similarities and differences, and it was a unique answer, but also goes to show, I think, some of the common threads that tie the art of singles wrestling and tag team wrestling, and also make them very different when you're trying to go from being in a great tag team and being a great single star.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Congrats on the win. Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News, already got dressed like a champion down, looking dapper.
Thank you.
You and Commander were tearing it down at the end of the match there, and maybe this question is more towards Tony as well. But could that potentially be a first challenger now that you are the hunted?
Well, when they walked through the curtain, it was definitely one of the first things I said to him was I would definitely love to see that again. And these guys have mixed it up before, but it was definitely an amazing finishing stretch to an incredible match. So for me personally, yes, I think that would be a great match to see. I think both of them have been very successful in tag teams and now in singles as well. Both great champions, of course. And that's part of why I was so excited to have them out there as the final two. And me personally, I think, as I said, when you came through the curtain, I'd watch that singles match every day, 365 days a year.
Let's do it. I'm down. But yeah, they said it in the they stuck a camera in my face as soon as I came back, and I said, I want to make this title the most important, not just in Ring of Honor, not just in AEW, the entire world. So line up the competitors. I think Commander would be a great first name to put me in there with. Obviously, we showed you a little bit of what the two of us can do tonight. So I think under different circumstances, it'd be fun. Real fun.
I agree. That was great. Thank you.
Kyle, congratulations. Brian's on PW Torch. The term sink or swim is used often in wrestling, and you found yourself in a unique situation where your partner, hope he's doing well, Mark Davis, got hurt, and wrestlers can sometimes get lost in the shuffle, but you decided to say, no, I'm actually here, and you stepped up against Kenny Omega, you stepped up against Brian Danielson, and now you're a champion. So can you say you've officially swam?
I'd like to think so, for sure. I'm very much like I struggle to be complacent. So I think even though I had those awesome opportunities to show out against Brian Danielson, Kenny Omega, to name a few, I just want more. That's all I want. I just want to I don't want to say that I've successfully swam, because in my own head, I know there's so much more for me to accomplish, so much more for me to do, so much more that I want to achieve. So, yeah, I'd like to say I've swam, but there's a lot more swimming to do.
Last question over here.
Cool.
Hi, Kyle. Alexia with Wrestle Purist. So obviously with you winning the new Ring of Honor TV championship, how has it been adjusting from, wrestling in New Japan to wrestling for different style in television? And what have you learned from that?
Good question. I have struggled with it a lot. I think there's a lot of different things that you have to consider, a lot of different things a lot more like that you have to be thinking about at all times, if that makes sense, through the whole process, from backstage to putting your gear on, doing your hair, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's something, it's another thing for me to learn. And I think every time I'm out there, I'm trying to do something more, do something different, whatever. So I think it's, I'm learning as we go, and I'd like to think I'm doing okay.
You're doing fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of differences, a lot of similarities, obviously. But yeah, I'm just trying to get better and better every time I'm out there.
Doing tremendous. And congratulations on a great win and a great match, and now great champion, Kyle Fletcher.
Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
guys. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Good night, guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Congrats.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks. Bye, guys. Thank you.
And we're just going to keep the great run of great wrestlers going. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Starks. Thank you very much. Heck yeah. Congratulations on an incredible, incredible match.
Thank you.
What's questions for this young wrestling genius?
Hey there, Roy Turner with iHeartRadio's This Is Wrestling. Billy, congratulations tonight on winning. I want to thank you coming into this match tonight, knowing you were against a hometown hero and Athena and everything else. How did you prepare for this match, and what do you see moving forward in terms of what you're going to be facing in the women's division?
I was preparing for my fight of the life tonight. I was extremely nervous going into this, and to be honest, I thought I was ready for Athena. I thought I was ready to take over the world. But tonight wasn't my night, and I knew that. But I am happy to have my mentor back, my friend back at the end of the day.
It was incredible. It was an incredible match. And what you two have been through, to see you take it out on each other physically, and then to have that moment at the end, it was really special. And it was such a great main event on one of my favorite wrestling shows of all time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony.
And to know, Billy, you're only 18 years old and just getting started.
I'm 19 now. I had
You're
a
19?
birthday. Come on.
I'm sorry. When was your 19th birthday?
I was December 8th, baby. Everybody gets confused because I have October on my Twitter.
Excuse me about that. Well, that is confusing. By the way, I apologize for that. I'm sorry. It's been obviously crazy times, as you know, as I was saying before. There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on. We said earlier, we were talking about Mark Briscoe was saying that was the 10th. I guess that was the week of the anniversary of the final match for the Briscoes, and a lot going on with Kenny being in the hospital. But I'm really sorry about that. I'm sorry I didn't.
No, it's okay.
But I meant what I said. I mean, at 19 years old, and it's crazy because you started working with us right around when you turned 18. I mean, it's crazy how it's been about a year.
It was
now.
literally like the week after my 18th birthday is the first AEW show I came to, and I got to wrestle, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I remember. And you came back, and it's crazy to think about because I remember when you came back, and it was the first time I'd met you. We were in Universal Studios in Orlando, and I could tell you had something right away.
Oh, thank you so much.
And tried to tell you that. And I guess you had just turned 18. It's crazy to think that was, I guess, a year. Like you said, it's been a full year. And tonight was just one of my favorite matches, one of my favorite nights. And I just wanted to, I know I said it when you came through, but I just wanted to thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Emily May with Sportskeeda Wrestling. Incredible, incredible main event match. How did you feel going into this main event match? And what is next for you? Because Athena is now back to being your mentor. So do you have something to say to her after this match?
I think I got to say what I wanted to during the match. If I'm going to be completely honest, I got all my frustrations out, all the anger from running steps the last couple of months. I'm not going to tell you guys what is more torturous, running steps or getting bombarded every single time you have a match, but it's going to make me a better wrestler in the end. So I appreciate Athena for all of her tutelage and everything she's going to give me. And it's going to give me what it takes to be the next champion. That's what I believe Athena's going to be able to help me with.
At the Minion graduation ceremony, the so-called Minion graduation ceremony, what was it in you what came over you to stand up to Athena in that moment?
I thought it was my time, honestly. I didn't think Lexi was better than me, if I'm going to be honest. I didn't think I sucked, but everybody else in the room did. And
No, they didn't.
I felt like I needed to finally have my own voice in that moment. I felt walked on for too long that's why I turned. I wanted to have my own voice. I didn't want to be in the shadows any longer.
That makes a lot of sense. I could see that. And I think you're right. It is your time and you're doing amazing stuff. But I don't think anybody thought that. I don't even think Athena thought that, to be honest with you. So, I don't think anybody believes that. I don't even think she believed that. You're doing great.
Derek Reed for Third League Radio. So you are 19, and pro wrestling's not an easy thing to do, no matter what age you are. But what kind of attitude, what kind of drive does it take to not only be a pro wrestler at 19, but be as good as you are?
I think it's just the love for pro wrestling that truly keeps me going. I love wrestling more than anything else in my life. I gave away my entire childhood for pro wrestling because I didn't care about anything else. I lost so many friends to do what I love. I wanted this dream more than anything else. I wanted to be a professional wrestler no matter what. And I have 4 fake teeth. I've split my head open twice. I will do anything to be successful in this business, and I don't care what it takes. I think that's what you have to do if you want to be successful as a professional wrestler, no matter your age.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
There we go. Last one here.
No, sure.
Hey, Tony. Billy. Congratulations on the night. I know it's not the outcome that you wanted, but congratulations on your performance. Going to bring up the age again, 19. But someone at your age, you have pretty much the world at your oyster, and you have pretty much the ability to kind of decide your path on where you want to go. You decided you wanted to be a professional wrestler. But what exactly led you to the decision of wanting to work with Tony and AEW specifically? Because I imagine you've had other offers elsewhere, but what exactly drew you to AEW and Ring of Honor?
I'm going to be honest. I could have done anything with my life. I had a 4.6 GPA in high school, and now I'm doing college because I think you should have a brain no matter what career you're in. I chose AEW truly for my own benefit. I had many options in high school, which was crazy. I didn't graduate before signing a contract. I don't know if anybody knows that information, but I signed a contract while I still hadn't graduated high school, which was crazy. I did choose to come to AEW because it gave me the freedom I wanted, and I wanted to grow on my own and say I did this by myself. But AEW has such an amazing roster of women that I don't think get the credit they deserve. Athena has been wrestling for over a decade. Tony's been all over the world doing phenomenal things. We just have new talent coming in like Mariah May, who's doing phenomenal work. So I just have so many people here that I would love the opportunity to wrestle and work with that I wouldn't have the opportunity to wrestle anywhere else.
Yeah, it's been great working with you. And just to echo what you said, I mean, for me personally, is from the first time you came through, as a young prospect, right after your 18th birthday to work AEW Dark and Universal Studios, I really felt like you had something really special. And I tried to tell you that from the beginning. And that's why early on, like you said, before you'd even graduated high school, we wanted you to be a part of what we do here at AEW and Ring of Honor. And I believe for both companies, you have a bright future. And I really mean what I say. It's not just part of the show. I really do enjoy working with you very much. I think what you're doing is so special. And tonight was such a great main event, and it was your first big pay-per-view main event, but I'm sure you're going to have a lot of great championship matches, a lot of great main events in this career. And I just want to thank you so much for what you've done in your first year here, and hopefully it's the first of many.
Thank you. Thank you for your support, TK. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. You do so great. I really appreciate you very much, Billy. Let's hear it for Billy.
Thank you all.
You
I
did
get
great.
to disappear now.
You did great.
Thank you so much.
Congrats. That was great. Thank you. And only one more person to join us, ladies and gentlemen, the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion for over 1 year, the hometown hero. Let's hear it for Athena. Congrats, Jane.
this up here. Yeah, just so you guys can see it
This is
right here.
deja vu all over again for us here, champ. Way
Yeah.
to go. Another great pay-per-view and another great Athena World Championship match.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I'm just used to it now.
Unbelievable.
Hi, Athena.
Hello.
Nika from Body Slam. This is our third or fourth doing this, but anyway, you have really put this company on your back, and you have been doing amazing work to the point that when people say Ring of Honor, they say Athena. It's synonymous. People are all over the internet calling you the best wrestler in the company, the best champion in the company, the most dominant champion. How does that feel for you? Because you've had such a long career, you've done so many great things, but to be in this position now and to do it again at home, how does that feel for you?
It's awesome. Like I sit back and look at what I've been doing this almost 19 years now. I say 20 because it sounds better because I was technically older than that when that was just in here. But I've been doing this for a very long time, and it's really cool because the wrestling business just keeps changing. There's always something to do. There's always something to work for, but consistently day in, day out, especially when it comes to Ring of Honor, anytime I step in the ring, I treat it like it's going to be my last match, because when I had my Achilles surgery, like I didn't think I was going to be able to come back. And for me to overcome that and not only come to AEW and ROH and be the dominant champion, which is really fun to kick people in the face nonstop. It's just a really cool moment. And I don't really think it's actually hit yet because it's not done. It's not over. It's going to continue forever because that's what I want it to be.
Hey, how you doing? Derek Reed. We've talked before. I don't know how to word it, but I guess
Oh, go ahead.
we were talking about how Tony trusts you to be the face of the company, to be the, I don't know, the person everyone looks at for Ring of Honor. And not only that, tonight you and Billy had the main event, when there were, there was a great 6-man, there was a great 6-way for the TV title. Just what kind of trust does that build, or what does that trust mean to you?
I don't know why you trust me so much, to be honest with you. No, when you look at the amazing roster that we have, like starting off the night with Vikingo and Taurus, all the way to the tribute for Jay, like it's a little nerve-wracking. It really is. I'm not going to deny that, but just being confident in Billy and myself and having that confidence to know that we're going to deliver day in, day out, because we had the story behind it. Like, honestly, like it was a no-brainer. It was just, hey man, I gotta go crazy. As soon as I saw that match announced, I think I was doing media somewhere in Dallas, and I was like, oh man, all right, we gotta top that. But that's the attitude I have. I'm going to be the best because I am the best. It doesn't matter if I'm a man or a woman. I am the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, and I do not care. I'm going to deliver every single time that I step into that ring, and people are going to acknowledge that.
Hey, Athena, congratulations. Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. We spoke a week or so ago, and you wouldn't give me the scoop on your entrance gear.
Yes.
You gave me a couple of hints, but you did not the full surprise. You said a lot of that was still under construction, so to speak. How close to the finish line did it get to come out in full Bane gear?
So when I found out my nose was broken, that was definitely a crazy situation, because I was like, oh crap, I can't wear this mask over a mask. I can't, like, and then I tried to order the other Bane mask from the movie, and then I was like, oh, I don't want to do that one. That defeats the purpose of the Venom pack. Come on. So then it became, well, I'm just gonna cut this as far up as I can and just hope it stays. And that's what it came down to. I think that was last night around 2 a.m. That I kind of just finagled that, had to get a sewing machine out and just figure it out the rest of the way. But I'm really glad I finally got to do it. It's an entrance piece that I wanted to do forever because I'm a massive Batman fan. And Bane is one of my favorite comic book. Bane is one of my favorites. Tom Hardy's great and all, but got to get the comic book Bane. But I was very excited to finally be able to do that cosplay, especially for an entrance, because I felt like it worked with everything going on with the story.
Over here next.
Hi, Athena. Alexia with Russell Purist. When was the moment for you, particularly when this specific version of Athena fully came together and clicked for you, like, realizing that you're the world's champion?
Probably last year in Arlington, Texas, at my former college that I dropped out of to pursue wrestling. So, that was a really crazy full circle moment for me, because never in a million years did I think I'd be wrestling like literally across the street from where I lived at one point in time. And I threw that all away for pro wrestling. But it really set in that night that like I'm doing the right things, I'm making the right steps and moving forward on this career path that I want. I genuinely feel like it's wild. Like I said, until this is over, I don't think any of this is going to set in. I just take it a day at a time and just try to be the best me possible.
Any other questions for Athena?
Hi, Athena. Nice to see you again. Brian's on PW Torch. It's pretty clear at this point, you're undeniable. You're in the realm of passing Omega, John Moxley, as far as title rings and just the AEW Ring of Honor sphere. When you're seeing people openly saying not only are you the top women's wrestler of this year, but you're the top conversation of wrestler in general, what do you think that means to you?
I mean, that's awesome. Like I said it before, like I felt like there was a massive double standard when it came to men and women in pro wrestling. The guys can hit hard, do crazy situations, jump off balconies. And I just wanted to be in that conversation. When I say that I go in there every day and I'm like, what can I do? What's the next thing? How can I destroy this broad that I'm in the ring with? What's going to get the gifts or the gifs, whatever you want to call them? Like, that's what I do day in and day out to put not only myself on the map, but Ring of Honor on the map. Like, I take a lot of pride in being the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Not only that, I am the first woman under Tony's banner here to main event 2 PLEs, like, which means the world to me that he trusted me and trusted me to deliver, especially with so many talented people on the card. Like, it means the world to me that like people are just finally realizing we are wrestlers. We go out there, we take the same falls, we do the same chaos, and this fly is murdering me. Texas, born and raised here, I should be used to it. But like, it means the world to me that like, that is the conversation. It's not like, hey, she's the best female wrestler. No, she's the best wrestler this year. And that is what this is all about. Every time any of these men and women step into the ring, it's about equality. It's about the art of what we do. We make art out of war and we entertain you in the process. We take years off of our lives to do this because we love this so much. We sleep this, we eat this. Like, I can't tell you how many times I have texted TK at 2 a.m. be like, hey man, sorry about this. This is the idea. And he's like, let's fucking go, you know? And it's awesome to have that collaboration, not only with TK, with the women in the locker room, because it doesn't take just me to build up this roster. Layla Hirsch, Willow Nightingale, Kiera Hogan, so many countless others, Yuka Sakazaki, Emi Sakura. Like, there are so many women that made this possible, that trusted me. Sky Blue as well, that little hussy, Spooky Sky. But there's so many women across the board, and I know I'm missing out on a few that helped me on this journey as I have helped them. And it's a collaboration, and we love this. And just to be considered like, hey, you had the top match of the year, and it's not a conversation to be a man, woman, African American. It's just, hell, it was fucking good. That's what it's all about.
Hell yeah.
Sorry for the F-bombs.
That was great. That was great. That was really great.
Final questions? No? All right, we got one more.
I'll go again. One more. In our interview a couple weeks ago, we talked about how you and Tony had conversations about getting you back on AEW television potentially soon, maybe, perhaps. Yes. Care to enlighten those conversations?
I think it's very interesting. I mean, one thing that has been really good, and I think you can have your cake and eat it too, but one thing that has been tremendous about Ring of Honor television week to week is you can count on Athena consistently being a part of it. So it's challenging because a lot of times when we change a taping schedule, it's worked out really well for Collision and Ring of Honor on Saturdays. So a lot of times on Saturdays when we are taping AEW TV, Athena is already being involved in the Ring of Honor show. But I am interested in getting Athena into Ring of Honor, obviously week to week, and keeping Athena on the show every week, but also getting Athena in AEW. And obviously you've wrestled in AEW before, but frankly, the last time you regularly competed in AEW, outside of a couple special appearances like at the pay-per-views and things like that, when you've come in and appeared at Forbidden Door, All Out, things like that have been really great. Obviously, the crowd responded great for those. Forbidden Door with Billy was a great situation. I think All Out was a great situation. So I would definitely be open to doing more things. I mean, we've had a lot of fun matches in AEW around the pay-per-views this year. And I would be definitely down to do more things on TV, especially if we can do things that aren't going to conflict with you being really the anchor of the ROH TV show that you've been this year.
Yeah. I mean, I am the best, and Ring of Honor is my show. It is Athena of Honor, if you will. As far as that goes, like, that's for us to know and you to find out. Tune into ROH, tune into AEW. I'll pop up soon.
I have a guy. I'm very, very excited about what Athena's doing, and it's translated to some of the best wrestling in Ring of Honor ever, in my opinion. Some of the best matches in this great promotion that has over 21 years of great history, and certainly one of the great champions making her name in the history of that company is now Athena. And I think a lot of the best wrestlers in the world today, wrestlers from AEW and international wrestlers, people wrestling all over the world, some of the biggest names have wrestled in Ring of Honor, been champions. And I think Athena right now is doing some of the best wrestling in the entire planet, and would be great to have in AEW, and also to maintain the great quality of Ring of Honor that we've had throughout this past year since Athena became the champion. I think it's also really important she's a part of that show, and I'm really excited about everything you're doing, and also very grateful to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great.
Sweet. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you very much.
You.
Congrats. Thank you, guys. Well, it's been tremendous catching up with you guys, with all the great stars from the amazing show tonight. A lot of great things happening in pro wrestling, so I can take some of your questions here while we're together.
Tony, first of all, great show.
Thank you, Stu.
There have been a lot of rumors regarding Warner Brothers Discovery, what they plan to do in the pro wrestling world. Involves, of course, AEW, Ring of Honor, and maybe another company or two as well. Just give me your thoughts on the relationship. Can you give us any type of insight as to what, discussions are looking like now as far as AEW, Ring of Honor, and Warner Brothers Discovery?
Ring of Honor, we haven't had recently as many, but we've had really good conversations about AEW. Even in recent days, I've had really good talks with Warner Brothers Discovery. We've been with them for several years. It's a really exciting time for AEW. We were the #1 show on cable on Wednesday in really what are considered both of the key demographics in TV, which are 18 to 49 and 25 to 54. So it was a great week for AEW. I think we've been putting out some of the best shows we've ever done. Right now, we're on this incredible run. Tonight was a great episode of Rampage, in addition to the great wrestling here on ROH Final Battle. The last few episodes of Collision have been tremendous. I think some of the best in the history of that show. And also Dynamite has been on a great roll in recent weeks. I think there's so many great things happening in AEW. So it was great to come in and have the #1 rating and be the #1 show on cable, which we've done so many times. We've performed incredibly well for Warner Brothers Discovery, and we're very, very, very strong relationship. I think with media rights and all the things coming up, everyone has to do their due diligence. It's just part of the TV business. But I think where we stand in a position for AEW to have a huge growth here in 2024. There's a lot of really exciting things happening that I know Warner Brothers is really excited about, that we've talked about. The advance for All In just being a massive success, as we're approaching a $5 million gate for a show that is 8.5 months away. And, we're so far ahead of where we were. We didn't put the tickets on sale last year until spring. and now getting on sale ahead of the holiday season. I mean, it's been a huge success. That's going to be tremendous. And one of the biggest wrestling shows in the history of the world, following up on the biggest wrestling show in the history of the world just months ago. We've done great show after great show. It's been a great year for us. We started out with some great wrestling to start the year, great matches, and then we went to Revolution in San Francisco and blew it out. And of course, Ring of Honor, I think all three of the major Ring of Honor events have been tremendous this year, including tonight, which was one of my favorite shows of the year, along with Supercard and Death Before Dishonor. I think the Ring of Honor shows have been excellent, but in particular, focusing on the Warner Brothers Discovery relationship that you asked about, we've just gone out and crushed it time after time. And this has been a great year for us. And the really All In is the biggest thing we've ever done. And I think it's one of the biggest things anybody's ever done in wrestling. But you have to also look at all the other huge events we've had recently, month after month. You know, All In was a great show, but really since Collision started, I think we've been able to do so much with 5 hours of television. So this was a big year for us with Warner Brothers Discovery. They came to us and asked us to go from doing 3 hours of TV a week on TBS and TNT, expanded it to 5 hours, and that's been very, very successful. Collision did a great audience this past weekend. It's been up the last couple of weeks, and also the shows have been as good as ever. Really strong shows. I was really proud, in particular, the last few weeks. The Continental Classic, I think, has been something really special. So it's a great relationship, and it's going very, very well for us. And I think part of the TV business for both sides is going to be doing their due diligence, and that's just a part of sports and television, really. And being a part of the NFL and the Premier League, you know, I've seen that process play out with certainly different TV networks looking at different sports, and the sports themselves looking at different TV networks. We've been a part of this multiple times in the NFL. I'm part of the NFL's fan engagement and major events committee. So I sit in a select group of people in the NFL looking at our different fan metrics, looking at how we're engaged with the fans digitally and in real time, and also planning major events and looking at those trends. And I've been able to take a lot of the things I've learned in the world of professional sports, working in the two biggest sports leagues in the world, and being around some of the biggest rights fees in the history of sporting, with the Premier League and in particular the NFL, which is the biggest media superpower in the entire planet and is running hotter and hotter every year and defying gravity. And so for what we're doing here and my experiences in the TV business, we stand to be in a really good position going into 2024. And Ring of Honor is a different company than AEW, but it is under my promotional umbrella. And it's under the umbrella of the challenger brand, which is AEW. And what we've created in this family of AEW that now includes Ring of Honor, we have great partners that we work with in international pro wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling has been a great partner to us. Now we're working with some of the great Lucha Libre promotions as well, and other companies all over the world. I like doing things with Andy at Rev Pro in England in particular. There's a lot of great companies around the world. But for AEW and I think Ring of Honor, because it falls under my ownership, to be AEW is to be under constant attack. You do a great show, and the next day somebody's saying something negative. You do 5 great shows in a row, somebody says something negative. You break the ticket record for the most tickets ever sold for any wrestling show in the history of the world, and somebody has something bad to say about it. I just, at this point, I don't worry about it. We just need to go out and do great shows week after week like we did. We were the #1 show on cable this week on Wednesday. We beat every single show on TV on Wednesday out of hundreds and hundreds of shows across hundreds of networks. And we continue doing it, and everybody who works here is going to be in good position. I think it's challenging because I've never seen anything quite like wrestling when it comes to such a large percentage of the business spending such a large percentage of their time on one platform, which is X, you know, formerly Twitter. It's amazing how many people in the wrestling business are on Twitter all the time. And to be honest, I understand it because it's good reason, because it's engagement, because there's such a large percentage of the wrestling fans and the wrestling media and opinion makers and the wrestlers themselves and the companies. So many people are on this one platform. It's pretty unique because in other sports, it's more evenly distributed. Like, to be honest, in the NFL, the biggest platform, and there's all these, you know, there's so much engagement across all these platforms. There's been so much growth in TikTok. We're up 300% year over year NFL in TikTok. And the amount of football being consumed in TikTok is insane, but that also, I don't want to what the NFL does on Instagram and Twitter X, it's incredible. But in wrestling in particular, this one platform, X, it is amazing how much time is spent in the industry on it. And it sometimes becomes, what I've seen is sometimes a bit of an echo chamber. And also there's a lot of bad faith. There's a lot of bad faith posting on it. And you can have a great day in the business, like do the #1 show, and people try and tell you didn't do something great, or you can break the world record for the most tickets ever sold to any wrestling show ever, and have this massive, huge success on pay-per-view and just hit a home run, and the wrestling's great and everything's great. And still people are trying to tell you there's some problem with it or some detrimental. I have news for you. When people, the drop count of the show, when people posted the number of people that go through the turnstiles, I've never heard of somebody posting a turnstile count, which is not, like, there's so many ways to get into a show, and there's so many people I talked to that bought tickets that did not have to go through the turnstiles. But take that aside for a second. The turnstile count, that is so normal for North American pro sports. Even if it was 73 out of 81, that would be over the average of show rate for North American pro sports. So if you take the average, like, Big Four pro sports game in America versus like the tickets purchased and then the people who actually go through the gate, people would talk like that was abnormal, it's like, and so again, to be AEW, no matter how good you do, there will be people coming for you, gunning for you, because that's what this is. There's a reason that every single person who stepped into my position until now has gone out of business. I'm the only one left. Everybody who has stepped up and put millions of dollars into this and done it week after week, and there's no off season. You do it 52 weeks a year. It's a fight, and that's a credit to the fans. I know what it is to be a wrestling fan 52 weeks a year. It's hard, and but it's also the most rewarding thing. That's why you can't get away from it for too long. That's why we always come back to it. We're addicted, and it's worth the fight. And I love the fight, and I'm never going to stop fighting it, no matter what happens, no matter how things change. It's worth it. It's the fight Jim Crockett fought, and Vern Gagne, and Ted Turner, and so many other people that have tried, and God bless them all. And I'm doing this for all of you. And I know all of you are here in spirit. So thank you very much.
Next question.
Joey Hayden, Dallas Morning News. Do you have any sort of further update on Kenny Omega, his health, and then what his absence will mean for the short term of AEW?
I know Kenny put out a statement of his own, and I completely support it. And I spoke to him today, and of course we've been very, very, very concerned. And honestly, it's hard to focus on pro wrestling when somebody that you care about, somebody that is so responsible for all of this in so many ways. I don't know if we could have launched AEW and this would all be possible without Kenny Omega. And certainly he's as influential on the launch of AEW as anybody. And he's one of the greatest pro wrestlers in the world. And he's also a really important figure in this promotion and this business. So I think we're all really concerned, but thankfully he's communicating, and, I think we're hoping for the best. And it's like, I think it's taken a turn for the better. The most important thing is that he got help from the doctors at the right time and didn't wait any longer, because he was in a lot of pain. And I don't think we knew how sick he was, or nobody would have wanted him to, I think, to be honest, I'll leave it to him to give updates, because he's already kind of been communicating, and it's his health, and I don't want to speak for him, but we're all praying for Kenny Omega. And thankfully, it seems like there's good reasons to be very optimistic, but we were all really worried about him. So it was honestly really hard the last 24 hours focusing on wrestling when somebody who's a part of our wrestling family has something happening that's not wrestling like that. So there's, whenever there's a real life situation like that, it always takes the most precedent. But we're thinking about Kenny Omega and hoping he gets well very soon, and wishing him the best. And sometimes it's not about wrestling, even on a great night of wrestling like this. That's probably the first and foremost thing. It's a great question. Thank you. All the best, Kenny. Get well soon, man.
Hey, Tony. Brian Zone, PW Torch. Tony, ticket prices and local promotions for shows has been a hot topic here of late for wrestling. Given that, if the numbers change, let me know. Given that there were roughly 1,200 tickets available for Final Battle, the show, this was per WrestleTix earlier today. Could you
Did you
just
say available or no? Well, that was. Do you say that were like that had been distributed or that were still for sale?
Still available? Yes. Yeah. And could you actually describe the company's approach and marketing for pricings, making sure everything's sensible for the attendees coming?
Sure, that's a great question. So, I think, like, first of all, for this event, there's some consideration. We did a series of shows in Dallas throughout this week, and AEW is a bigger company than ROH. I think it's fair to say. In the history of ROH, this is one of the biggest gates in the history of ROH, which is a company that has been around for 21 years. And we're operating it as a peripheral operation to AEW, a complementary company in many ways. And I think it complements what we do here. And it allows us to not only feature some of the best wrestlers, but also feature a top veteran like Athena, showcase a great champion, give her a platform to wrestle young wrestlers, people that we've seen develop and get better while they're wrestling Athena, whether it was Sky Blue, Willow Nightingale, and tonight Billy Starks, who has been mentored by Athena as an 18, now 19-year-old. And I think ROH, not as big of a company as AEW, to sell roughly 2,000 tickets where we ended up tonight is phenomenal for ROH, and I'm really happy with that. And I think that's going to end up as in 21 years, one of their best gates ever. So that's right on pace with what we would expect to do for an ROH show. It's very economical. And when I say economical, and bear in mind, we do lots of shows a year. So hundreds of thousands of dollars is a lot of money for the year. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, 52 weeks a year. Think about that. That's 8 figures. That adds up. So when you can do things like loading into an arena like this and spending a great market like this, and we've had these great shows and the fans have been awesome, right? For the TV product, it's been tremendous. We're doing great. It was a great show, #1 show on cable this week, and the TV audience was fantastic for the Dynamite in Arlington. And then it was obviously a very short load to bring all the equipment here to Garland, just going down the road in the same market. So that was great. And that worked with the availability of the building and then staying here for Collision. So we're doing 3 shows in the market, 2 AEW, 1 Ring of Honor that was tonight. The show tomorrow, Collision, in this building is the biggest attendance of the 3 by far this week. So tomorrow is going to be our biggest crowd of the week. And we save hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing it this way. And the shows have been great and the fans are awesome. And if the crowd tomorrow for Collision is anything like what we've had for Dynamite and Final Battle these last few days on Wednesday and tonight, Friday, it's going to be incredible because it's going to be a crowd. I think, it's going to be even bigger than the Dynamite crowd and bigger than tonight's crowd, probably almost combined, honestly. And that's going to be awesome in this building. And I think it'll be really great to keep that going because, first of all, we've built a great tradition of coming here to Dallas every December into the Metroplex and bringing great shows. But also that's a big cost savings versus, driving hundreds of miles each way, or even if we loaded into another building, it's a big savings. So that's part of the mindset. So this was actually an incredibly economical week for us. And even though the Ring of Honor show might not have sold as many tickets as the Dynamite and the Collision, it's still one of Ring of Honor's most successful shows of all time. And on the streaming service, incredibly well it performed. And we were able to, get Ring of Honor in front of for their standards going into my ownership. And, this is very consistent with the kind of crowds we've had for the Ring of Honor pay-per-views. A couple thousand people is a good Ring of Honor crowd. And that's, before I took over, you could count in 21 years how many times Ring of Honor had a couple thousand people in the building. So I'm pretty happy with it. And also AEW this year, the attendance is up year over year for Q4. So I think, Adam and John have done a great job, I think. And frankly, I will say, I shook the tree a little bit when they came in to say, you guys need to get into the markets with the wrestlers. And they've done fantastic and responded really well. And I think whether you look at Houston, Philadelphia, Chicago, and a bunch of the cities we've done in the last several months, the walk-ups have been outstanding. And actually we've done and there was another one I'm forgetting too, but we did 4 of the top 7 walk-ups. Grand Slam was huge. Grand Slam was the #1 and Grand Slam. And then Grand Slam, Houston, Philly, Chicago were 4 of the top 7 or 8 walk-ups in the history of the company for TV. And then the pay-per-view walk-ups also outstanding. The LA pay-per-view was the biggest walk-up in the history of the company. So we've actually been having like these last few months, really, really good success. These guys have really done a great job. The PR team and Mandy and Danny and everybody done a great job, along with John and Adam. And I think them working with the live events team, they've stepped up so that we've seen a good boost. So year over year, Q4, we're up, which is great. And so I want to keep growing. I don't know if you saw the study. From questions I had asked, and it came out favorably. And there's a reason I asked, because my gut said it was true, and it was. The numbers we're doing for our tickets are not only comparable to what WCW was doing in the mid 90s, but in many cases better. Like, our numbers are better per show than WCW in 94. And I think right on 96 and 95, like right there. And I think we're ahead of one year and right behind the other, like right kind of there. WrestleTix estimates. And I'm not sure, the WrestleTix, that's their estimate. Usually looks like it's pretty close. There's times where I think he's like a couple, if it's several thousand tickets, they might be off by a couple hundred, which is a lot on one hand, but on the other hand, it's like, sometimes it's 5 to 10% of the whole thing. So they are usually within a pretty good margin of error by the way he counts them. And when they did that study with WCW, I think that's a good comparison. And to be a challenger brand, there hasn't been a company like AEW that had this big of a market share since the 90s. It's really cool. And like I said, I think the juggernaut is, in many ways that we're up against, is bigger than ever and more imposing than ever. And in a digital era, when you're facing that kind of juggernaut, it's constant pressure. And I think this year we've delivered with more great shows than ever before. And it's a great time to be AEW. And so I'm really excited about what we're doing. I think certainly when you talk about tickets, some of our most exciting momentum we've ever had, the Greensboro, we talked about it on the show tonight, but today was the first day of tickets for Revolution, and we're over 11,000 tickets sold for a show on the first day. So that's our biggest for any non-first time event. I think that's going to be up there with like the first Double or Nothing, the first Grand Slam. That's one of our biggest first days we've ever done for anything in North America, and that's for a show in March. And obviously, there's tons of excitement around Sting's retirement, but certainly a huge success. And as we keep announcing more details about Sting's retirement, more details about the rest of the Revolution card, that's only going to get more successful. But we're approaching $1 million gate on the first day of that, and approaching a $5 million gate for Wembley. So I think it's important sometimes to keep perspective. And I said in my full gear scrum, but just to reiterate, sometimes we forget what a $10 million gate is. It's a $10 million gate is 10 $1 million gates in one night. It's literally $50,000, $200,000 gates in one night. Like a $200,000 gate in wrestling. It's like pretty good, but 50 in one night. That's something. And that's something we did this year. So I don't ever want to lose track of that. It's been an amazing year, and it's the most tickets we've ever sold in a year. So that's pretty great. Thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Hi, Tony. Alexia with Wrestle Purist. So with the positive reception that Continental Classic has had so far with all these new matchups and stuff, should fans expect the next one to be bigger and maybe have outside talent with your newest partner, CMLL, maybe New Japan as well?
It's a great question. I mean, since we're still going through the first one, I want to finish this Continental Classic and focus on the one we're really in the thick of as we speak right now. It's just going so well, and the fans have stepped up. I think it's fair to say the fans put their money where their mouth is. The show's been doing great. The episodes of our AEW television have been outstanding, and we're doing great ratings, and we've seen lift week after week in ratings. And I'm attributing a lot of that to the great Continental Classic and the support of the wrestling fans. I also think it's been tremendous, and certainly you could potentially see more involvement next year. But the way it's going, I think it's a safe bet to say it will be back next year for the Continental Classic. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate it. I think it's been a really exciting part of our TV, and there's things that have set it apart from other round robin tournaments. I think really incentivizes everyone to fight for the win, 3 points for a win versus 1 point for a draw, that having that extra incentive to get the win versus take the 1 point split, because as we see in the Premier League and in football, the 3 points versus the 1 point, it really pushes teams to give it their all. And I think in the Continental Classic, it's been a big part. And I think banning everyone from ringside, ensuring no outside interference, has made the matches really special and stand out as great sports contests. And that is different some of the other round robin tournaments where you're not going to see any of that outside interference. And as far as international involvement, things of that nature, I think it's a great question. So, see how the rest of this tournament goes and how it turns out. But I think it's a great question and certainly could be something to look at in the future. Definitely. Thank you.
Here, a few more.
Hey, Stu.
By the way, I put in for my press credential for Revolution because I want to see Sting 40 years after I saw him first time.
Well, that's great. Well, these guys will take care of you. I hope.
We saw Brandon Danielson being attended to ringside. Update on Brian's health. Is he okay? We know he's got the match tomorrow night in the Continental Classic. Just giving if you've got an update on Brian.
He's living on the edge. This guy, he's amazing. He's amazing. I've never met anybody like him in my entire life. I think hopefully he'll be good for tomorrow, but he's just having one of the most amazing years. I mean, you think about it. He's had 3 major injuries this year, and he's come back, I think, better every time. He's found a way, whether it was his eye, his arm, his shoulder, he's found a way to work through it each and every time and come back better. I think he's the smartest person I know. I think he's the smartest person I've ever known, not only in wrestling, but in any walk of life. I think he could have really done just about anything he set his mind to, and he's become, in my opinion, the greatest wrestler of all time. And anytime we get to go out there and watch him do it, it's an honor and a privilege. And tonight, that's how I felt. And I hope and pray that he'll be okay to wrestle tomorrow on TNT on AEW Collision. Right now, I expect it, but on the other hand, I can't take it for granted because he got the hell beaten out of him tonight. And we'll hope for the best, but I think he'll be okay. I'm optimistic for Collision on TNT tomorrow here in this great venue.
More questions for Tony? Anyone?
Hi, Tony. Cobain Reed, Pro Wrestling and Review newsletter. Just quick question. Any thoughts of expanding the ROH pay-per-view schedule at all?
It's a great question. I think it's something to consider. We've had a massive year expanding the AEW pay-per-view schedule. And of course, World's End is a new event coming up, and World's End is very soon. World's End coming up December 30th. We're really just now weeks away from that event. It's a first-time event. We've had a few first-time events for AEW this year, and so far we're on this perfect streak. The new events we've added this year have gone really well. The first year we came in for our first full year, we had 4 pay-per-views, and that's what we did the first few years with, we started with Double or Nothing, All Out, Full Gear, and Revolution, and had that great quarterly cadence. And then last year we added Forbidden Door, and that was so successful. And Forbidden Door, actually, then of the original 5 pay-per-views, that was the biggest debut of any of our shows. So it showed that there was a market for more pay-per-view, in my opinion, especially if they're major events and they have something that makes them important. I would never add another event just to add an event. I feel like each of these events has really added something to AEW. And so when we added Forbidden Door and went to 5 events, it's worked really well. And then this year, I wanted to add some new things. With the addition of Collision, it allows us to tell more stories. And I think it helps us to build up more pay-per-views and have better pay-per-views. And this has been, we have a reputation for having some amazing pay-per-views, and no challenger brand in this wrestling business has had the success we've had since the 1990s on pay-per-view. And we've been able to sustain it. And this year it got even bigger, and we've had our best year ever on pay-per-view while expanding the calendar. And, I talked about adding first-time events. Well, for AEW, it was the first time we've ever done All In. And that was not only the biggest live event success ever in wrestling, sold the most tickets anyone's ever sold, but it was our huge pay-per-view. And that and All Out 21, those are our 2 biggest pay-per-views ever, and our only ones that have done that 200,000 or better number. And then Wrestle Dream was so fun for me, and it was such a great pleasure to have the late great Antonio Inoki's family come to AEW and honor Inoki, and then go to Seattle, where we have so many of the greatest wrestlers in AEW were from Seattle, and so many great fans, and it was such a hot crowd. And to bring Adam Copeland in after a Christian Cage and Darby main event, it was so awesome. And I feel like we've been able to maintain the standard of our original pay-per-views and add more, and I think that'll continue with World's End. So your question about expanding the Ring of Honor pay-per-view calendar, I've definitely considering it could be good to add more big Ring of Honor events. And this was the first time we've done a Ring of Honor event exclusively on watchroh.com. We had been doing these as pay-per-view events, and they've been very successful. I think now with World's End coming up in a couple weeks, to me, I put the eggs of pay-per-view as far as cable and satellite and Bleacher Report on World's End, and then focus on watchroh.com. And nobody's asked about it, but I will say it's been a huge success. We've had a huge leap in subscribers to watchroh.com this week. So it worked out really well, I believe, putting this event on watchroh.com and now expanding AEW's pay-per-view calendar, adding World's End. So this will definitely be our biggest December ever on pay-per-view. I'm very confident. And the website, watchroh.com, and the app are done really well. So I think we could see more ROH events, but it might make sense for them to be on watchroh.com and not as pay-per-views. One thing I heard from so many people tonight was this was probably the best value of wrestling event all year, that you could get this event for $10 and sign up and get it, this show. It was such a high quality event, and I think it was a steal of a deal. So bodes well for doing more events like this. And we've had, since I took over, I've focused on 3 of the big Ring of Honor events that I felt like on the calendar were very complementary to the AEW schedule. So when I took over, I kind of mapped out, okay, I want to do Super Card of Honor, which was the handover show. I will say, before I go back to the talking through the calendar, I was saying to some, it was, this was the building where I did my first ROH show. And it was funny talking to Tony Schiavone about it, because I think it's not even 1% as weird or surreal, but it was probably since the last Nitro, like the weirdest vibe in terms of like a new boss coming in to take over a company and nobody knowing what to expect. I'd like to think for the majority of the people, it's been really good. I've retained a lot of the original ROH people. A lot of the people when I came in, they didn't know whether they were going to still have a job. And I've tried to keep as many people in their jobs as possible and make them better jobs and more sustainable and stable jobs, but also hired more people. So when I came in, a lot of the people were able to stay and keep their job, which was not something that happened during that WCW handover. And I came in with a lot of the AEW crew to produce the show, but there were a lot of people that I'd never worked with before, including the Briscoes and Ian and Caprice and a number of others that I was really excited to take for a spin. And it went really, really well. And so many of those people have become a big part of our family and what we do here now. And there were times, though, it was a funny day. It was definitely a really interesting day. It was a surreal day in the wrestling business to have the AEW people come in and basically have it be a handover show, because I was the papers weren't actually signed yet. So I was running the company, but because I had control of the company, but there were still some I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed. So I was like the interim boss at that point. So I had all the stroke, but so it was quite a surreal thing. And to go from that Super Card of Honor right here, where we started that Briscoes FTR trilogy, and then Death Before Dishonor and Final Battle, I think those are really 3 good events that are complementary to the AEW schedule that you asked about with the Ring of Honor calendar. I could see potentially adding more events, maybe even bringing back great events from Ring of Honor's history and putting those maybe on watchroh.com. Thanks for asking.
Any final questions for Tony? I've got one more, if that's okay. All right.
Yeah, sure.
Take it home. All right. It's not a ticket price. It's a question,
No, it's
Tony.
okay.
I got you. So Brian Zone, PW Torch. Tony, obviously this week it's been pretty heavy on the Von Erichs. I wanted to actually get your opinion on that. I don't think anybody's asked you yet. Can you explain what it's been like to work with them, and who initially started those conversations between you and them, and potentially the Von Erichs being on television?
Well, I was really interested in the Von Erichs and using them. And actually, I think they had a representative months ago reach out to Sanjay, and Sanjay had called me and said, would you have interest in the Von Erichs in Dallas? And I said, yes, absolutely. And I think the timing of the Iron Claw would work out well for everybody. It would make sense. And, you know, we have a presence in that movie. Of course, MJF is an executive producer on that movie, and MJF and Ryan Nemeth are both in the film as actors. And we also have a partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery, and they have a partnership with A24. So there's a lot of reasons why I thought the collaboration would make sense. But first and foremost, the biggest reason is Dallas Metroplex is Von Erich country. Like, this is their territory. And, you know, when we came in here, when I saw them, first thing I said to Kevin Von Erich is, you know, thank you for letting us do the show in your territory. I really appreciate it. And it was really great working with Ross and Marshall these last few days, and they're going to be back with us again tomorrow. And it's been tremendous having them the whole week. I really liked getting them out there. It was something I tried to set them up to succeed, and I think they are 2 for 2. I wanted to give them opponents that would be the perfect opponents for them. So Outrunners were my choice for ROH, and then I thought teaming with Orange Cassidy against Jake Hager and Cool Hand Ange and Daddy Magic, I thought that would be a lot of fun on Rampage tonight, and I think they did great on the Rampage and great tonight in ROH, and I'd love to use them again in the future, not only exclusively in Dallas. You know, they're tremendous. Ross and Marshall, it's my first time working with them. I really liked them, and they did a great job, and Kevin is tremendous. So it's something I did want to do, and I was glad they reached out. And when Sanjay called me and said, would you have interest in the Von Erichs in Dallas? I said, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Any other questions?
It was great. I really appreciate you all being here and covering the event. Thank you. It was, you know, Ring of Honor, we have a really hardcore, loyal audience, and all of you being here, it means a lot. And I can tell all of you and your presence here and the questions you asked and your professionalism, all of you really love pro wrestling. So I just want to thank you all very much for being here and making this a great night. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody.